brought JT on for a reason. I don't want to waste his precious time. He's sitting in the brewery right now. Got to get home. And
you get plenty of beer. It's fine.
Good. I mean, yeah, just suckle from the fermenter if you get thirsty. But we had talked about a quick shout out last week to Tapping Portsmouth, which is an exhibit going on in Strawberry Banke in Portsmouth, starting on Friday and going, I think, through Halloween. So it's kind of a big deal for beer, and obviously there's some great history behind it. And one of the breweries participating in this, alongside Earth Eagle, Red Hook, is Smutty Nose and
Portsmouth Brewery. Well, we're both involved.
Yes. Yeah. So, would you want to give us a quick background on what you know about what's going on?
Sure. So the background is Portsmouth has a really, really expansive history as a brewing town. And it doesn't start in 1991 with the opening of Portsmouth Brewery. There are colonial records of back when beer was brewed as part of the house, part of like household chores by women and who were keeping the house. Up through the Victorian era, the original Frank Jones Brewery that was here in the 19th century at one point was big enough that they were exporting ale to the UK. They were the biggest ale maker in North America. In fact, when you're here in Portsmouth, you can see their entire brewery complex. And the last brewery in Portsmouth closed in the 60s. And then we have sort of the current era that starts in 1991. So this exhibit covers sort of the history of brewing in Portsmouth. They've got a lot of really cool pieces of what we now call POS, but advertising and marketing materials from Portsmouth Brewing Company, from Frank Jones, from the Eldridge Brewery. And then they have stuff from contemporary breweries as well. So when we were talking with the curator at Strawberry Banke about it, she said, what kind of cool stuff could we do in conjunction with the exhibit? And I said, well, we should get the town's brewers together and brew some cool beers. And luckily, everyone was excited about the idea. We get, Earth Eagle, Portsmouth Brewery, and then and Red Hook now has what they're calling their Peas Brewery, which is like a 3.5 barrel pilot system that's actually really sweet. We sort of got together and had a meeting and talked about sort of the different things we wanted to brew for this tapping event that's taking place this Friday. The guys at Earth Eagle, because they tend to brew with a lot of unusual ingredients, took their inspiration from colonial times. So their beer is called Scorbutus, and it's brewed with
what I got right here.
Tips, maple sap instead of water, and I think like parsnips or turnips, something like that. Some like an unusual starch source. Tyler Jones at the Portsmouth Brewery is doing a beer called Puddle Dock Porter, which is inspired by 19th century beers. It's got ginger grown at Strawberry Banke, some cardamom, and some molasses.
Nice.
And then Red Hook is brewing sort of what we're calling a now IPA, which goes under the name Stride Wide. There's a good story behind that name. But it's, I think it's almost exclusively Southern Hemisphere hops, so all the cool varieties from Australia and New Zealand, Galaxy, and I think Calypso are the main flavor hops in that beer. So we sort of have one beer from each era of brewing in Portsmouth. And we've got firkins of each one that are going to be tapped in the old tap room of the Pit Tavern on the grounds of Strawberry Banke. It's a historic tavern. George Washington drank beer there.
Awesome.
This will be the first time in probably a couple of centuries that they've actually served beer in this tavern. Cool. You can, if you come to the event, you can see the museum exhibition. And I think there's going to be a bluegrass band as well. So
awesome. Now to quickly backtrack, Mike, who's a host on this show, just to let you know, George Washington, first president.
Oh, thank you. I was actually just Googling it, and
I was Wikiing it. Like, Wikipedia's not the only thing. But
I kept getting a lot of weird things.
Yeah, so we got the link in the show notes to the event.
Couple quarters.
I believe for non-members, it's $40, and you get some small plates alongside the tasting of the casks or firkins. And if it's any day like today, and it's supposed to be, it's going to be a great day to be at Strawberry Banke. That's for sure. So, I mean, I suggest you all go if you can.
Yeah, if you haven't been there, it's a collection of old buildings centered around like a grassy square. They've got really fantastic gardens there. John Forty, who curates the historic landscapes. We've done a couple collaborations with him at Portsmouth Brewery. It's a pretty great night out, and if the weather's nice, it's the same place Passport is, Carla. You've been to Passport.
And I'm a huge fan of the Passport. They do a beer and food pairing event there every summer. It's awesome, and it also raises money for them and New Hampshire Public Television. But it's just a really fun place to walk around. It got, like you said, they've got gardens. There's actually wild hops growing on the property too, which is kind of fun. If you can go find those, But I'm into everything history, so for me, a place like Strawberry Banke is just cool in its own right, So if you add, beer history to it, I'm all about that. So.
Yeah, and I guess I should mention the pairings as well, and give a shout out to the chefs involved. Sure. We've got Evan Mallett from the Black Trumpet doing a pairing, Susan Tuvison from Acorn Kitchen in Kittery, and then we have a third chef who I'm blanking on right now. Oh, it's Brent and Taylor from the Green Monkey. They're going to have small plates using local ingredients and spring harvested herbs from the museum garden. So it's, if you like local food, it doesn't get much more local than that to be eating these dishes from the grounds in which the ingredients were grown. So
pretty awesome.
It's awesome.
It's not a bad way to spend your Friday evening.
Definitely, and it's quite early too. It's 5 to 7, so even once the evening ends, plenty of time to walk around the decks. It'll still be quite light out and probably pretty awesome. And if you want, you can take a look at the Memorial Bridge, which is yet to be built, but it's getting there. 2 months.
And the other one that's been recently damaged.
Yeah, word on the street is 2015 is when she's going down. So, yeah, whatever. Maine, listen, we love you, Carla. Right, but we can't get to you. That's the problem. So
she can get to us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't know. I've got Todd Mott on my side. So.
You ever see that episode of Green Acres where they blew up all the bridges into Hooterville and declared themselves a republic?
No, but that's awesome. Man.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the subversive plot here is to isolate Maine from the rest of the country.
Nice.
Hey, folks,
they got to do a little more than that.
Yeah, if you were looking for a Green Acre reference for this podcast, you had to wait 33 episodes for it. We did it.
Satisfaction guaranteed.
I'm with you, JT. I used to watch that when I was a kid, too, on reruns.
Yeah, growing up in North Carolina, secession was kind of a big part of the culture down there, so that episode had some special resonance for me.
Although Peaks Island does keep trying to secede from Portland, which I think is really funny.
Interesting.
They pay taxes that help us plow roads that they don't have on the island, so they're a little mad that all their money keeps going to us. Oops.
I say it's going to be a Maine or a Peaks Island Tea Party coming up shortly. Just dumping.
They try every 2-3 years. They try to secede.
Oh,
and
like
literally,
they tried
loses a
dumping
piece of paperwork, and it just doesn't happen. Oh, you forgot to fill that out.
I see them hijacking like an Allagash truck and pouring all the Allagash fluxus in the Atlantic Ocean.
All right. Yeah, that'd be like that.
Okay, we're good.
Jesus!
You see Carla get those bows and arrows going really quick.
Legolas coming in like, whoa. But, all right, we're going to quickly press on here. So, again, JT, please, if you want to stick around, we got some stuff to talk about, and hopefully you have some cool stuff to show us from Smutty Nose, maybe?
Cool is one thing. That my desk is sort of a mass of cardboard right now. I'm shipping out press samples of Wunderbar Pilsner and Summerweizen. So
actually, while I have you, and feel free to not mention anything, but I believe Smutty Nose beers are featured in an upcoming feature film. Can you give any light to that?
Yes, there is a feature film that's slowly. We keep checking the listings for Newington. I don't know if it came out this weekend, but it's the new Rob Zombie film, Lords of Salem.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
It's we haven't done a whole lot of branding with the gothic horror, dreadlocked woman riding around on a ram with huge horn demographic, but
it's like a Saturday Night at Norm's.
I picture the Star Island single being perfect for that crowd.
I don't think we said I didn't send any Star Island in for that. If you watch the trailer, there's a scene where someone is slumped kind of in front of an old refrigerator, and there are a bunch of bottles of Star Island or of Old Brown Dog behind her. And then a friend of one of our brewers who lives in L.A. saw the film and kind of freaked out. And it's like, Smutty Nose is all over it. And I guess he saw Porter and Big A as well as Old Brown Dog. So
whoa, it was Big A that did the murder.
Yes. Well, we're following in Stone's footsteps with Hostel, getting our crappier in a horror movie. So
yes.
Fun fact. a lot of that movie was filmed in Salem, Massachusetts.
Really? Oh, because you're
You
from there.
film, Michael.
Yeah, it's they last year Rob Zombie made 2 separate trips to Salem to actually film on Essex Street and Derby Street and like all the historical areas around here. I think he filmed in a hotel too.
Awesome.
And he went to the Old Spot and a couple other places in town and just sat and had beers and like signed autographs and just chilled out. But the majority of the movie is like a set in LA. But,
Yeah, well, that was funny when they sent us the request that like we want to feature your beer in the movie. I'm thinking, great, it's in Salem. How much do you need? I'll just put it in my car and drive down, and I'll get to check out a movie set. And they're like, no, it's all the soundstage in LA. And, like, why would you take the time to recreate Salem? I lived there for a year. It's not my favorite place in the world. Why would you take the time to recreate it in LA when everything's already there? But I guess that's kind of how they work.
Well, it blew my mind too because they apparently they had to come back and do a bunch of reshoots, and I was like, all that effort, like you should have just posted up here for a month and just filmed the entire thing here.
Yep.
We're used to traffic and having roads shut down. You should have just done it all here.
Imagine Rob Zombie just staying with you.
Oh,
I would.
God,
I would.
love it.
I wouldn't sleep because I'd be just scared. But I hear he's sweet as humble pie. Like he's just a good dude.
Just wake up
You're
blasting.
saying that so you don't wake up in your house tonight.
Yeah, just what are you doing here?
Wake up tied to a chair with like stakes through my hands. I'm like, oh, come on, bro.
I want to play a game. Okay, we done that.
I think he's a Haverhill native.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's from Massachusetts. I
he's
can't
from
remember.
Haverhill in the Merrimack Valley.
Haverhill, nice.
Haverhill. Is that right near Worcester?
Yes.
No, it's next to,
Worcester.
next to Amherst.
Oh, right, and Peabody.
Oh,
and
boy.
Meeting.
All right, but we digress. So we're gonna be looking forward to that.